Hi everyone, welcome to BumbleBeeCrafts. Thanks for tuning in to another video from me. Today it's Fabric Friday, so I'm here with some more fun fabric adventures. Today is going to be fabric flips and fabric flips with hidden pockets. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. So if you're new to using fabric and fabric flips, I will show you the very basic fabric flip that we often do as junk journalers, but I won't spend too much time on this because I know it's quite a common thing for us to do, and quite easy to do and straightforward, is to make some fabric flips. And when I was pulling out bits for this video, I actually found a whole stash. Look at all these fabric flips. I'd forgotten they were in one of these tubs with a lid on, stacked up on the shelf, and I had forgotten that I'd got all of these done. There were lots of lace down them and stuff. I mean, that's got a bit of decoration on that one, but depending on which journal I put it in, I'd probably put like a butterfly on here, or maybe add something to it. It's yeah, there's loads in there. So I'm not going to spend too much longer on the idea of a fabric flip, but I do have 3 variations that I wanted to just show you first. Let's move my pins and stuff away. Now, the fabric flip is just a collection of fabric that pleases the eye, basically. I mean, you can arrange it how you like, shorter, longer pieces. Usually always has a bit of trim at the top just to weight it down and hold it all together. And then this, just, I tend to, where the stitching is, don't go any lower than the stitching, and glue that onto the top of the page, and then that'll be up there like so. And the purpose of it really is to be able to add texture to your journal. It also creates a hidden space under here for you to write, or if you've got a photo that you wanted to put under here but you wanted to cover it up with that so that it wasn't on show all the time in the journal, you could do anything underneath it, but the idea is just to add some dimension and texture to a journal. So with that fabric flip in mind, that's the basic one. I see this is not my idea for this little hidden pocket one. One of Gail's videos, she was sent it by somebody, and I can't remember who sent it to her, but a lady had done this idea, sent it on to Gail, and she showed it. I think it's got to have been on one of her Etsy shares. But anyway, when you look at it, straightforward fabric flip, a couple of layers, bit of lace at the top, but it's got a bit of stitching along the bottom here, because it's actually, you just separate the two, if I can, it's actually a little pocket in here. So let me show you. Let me grab, here we go, just my glue card, and you would pop a little journaling card, some paper for some writing, maybe a photo or something in here, and it still flips up on the page and works just like a normal fabric flip, but with that added extra space inside it. So that's one idea. I'm going to show you how to do those, but again, that's not my idea. But I have taken this idea and thought I would do a few variations. So this is variation number 1, where again it's a fabric flip, but when you do that, this bit is actually stuck down, so you would put a nice big journaling card, again a photo, some writing space in here, and that also, especially when you have it with lace, you could see part of it, but like we would hide if we were using a bit of vellum, you'd see a little something through it and stuff. So that gives that idea. Then I thought, well, I'm just moving the pocket, so you could move the pocket this side, you could have the pocket that side, or with this one I put the pocket at the bottom, and you just put your little tag in there, glue that on the page, and then just flip it up as you would normally. So again, you don't have to have it like this one, this side or that side, the bottom one. You could do a bit of triangle, so it's like a little tuck spot. Various different ways that you can take this to do it. So what I thought I'd do is just quickly show you a fabric flip first, for those of you that are new and aren't sure about how to put one together. Just check I'm still filming. Now this one's a little bit shorter. I do tend to go for one that virtually fills the page, but that was just a scrap bit of material that I had left. So it's about 4.5 inches wide and it's about 7.5 inches tall. You could make it a little wider if you wanted to cover the whole page, but often we make fabric flips from our scraps, so that's again something to bear in mind. So I've got some material here that I've pulled out that I really want to do a fabric flip with, because I've got a journal cover that uses this material, so I want to match that to it. So I am just going to lay this on here and roughly cut it at about 7.5. There we go. And then I said I wanted it at about 4.5. So if we go, it's about here. So there we go. Now I do like my edges frayed, so I'm just going to fray these edges. Unless it's folded over and sewn very neatly, and that's the only time I like it straight and neat. The rest of the time, if it's like this, then I love it frayed. There we go. I've even got my little jar at the hand ready so that I can keep popping the little threads in there. Okay, so that's the start of our fabric flip, and then it's just a case of building up the layers. I think I'd like a piece of this on next. And we've got a couple of pieces in here, haven't we? Let's go with this one. And I'm just going to use this as my base and a guide to know where to cut. I don't want it all the way down the bottom. I want it about there, I think. So it's just making an arrangement with the fabric that pleases you and your eye and what you think creatively looks good together. Now, so that's going to go down there, but I want it to be a little bit thinner, so I'm going to just go here. That would make a good tag topper, wouldn't it? Okay. Okay, so that's going to lay on there like that. Then I'm thinking a piece of this maybe, or do I want a piece of this? I think I want a piece of this. But I don't think I want it quite that long. I'll go there. Okay, so that's going to go there, and then I want just a thin strip of this, I'm thinking, down the edge here, so oops. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. Can't believe we're into February already. Well, it will be when this airs. It's just, yeah, January has gone quick in some ways. It's gone quick. Okay, gather up my threads, and then I just want that over there. What do I want it underneath? Maybe I want that like that. Yeah, that's how I want that. Now you can do, I mean, I've got 4 layers here. You don't have to stick to 4. You could do 5 or 6. You could do just a couple of layers if the fabric's got really nice pattern on it. And if you wanted to, you could just leave it at that and stitch it. But I always do like to put a little bit of lace across the top. Now I'm going to go for a very thin bit because I don't want to cover up too much of that lovely rose. So I'm just going to put a bit of that across the top. So I'm working on the black side of my mat. You'll have to let me know whether you prefer the black or the white side. As I'm not gluing anything, and I tend to use this side for my fabrics anyway. So yeah, I will then just put a little pin in this and then take it to my sewing machine and sew it all together with just a zigzag stitch. I'll show you what I did with these. I just did a straightforward zigzag stitch. I did back stitch on these. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I'm doing lots of them in one go, then I will just keep it one after the other, and then I will just knot these at the end. But yeah, just a simple little fabric flip like so. So I won't do any more of those because, as I said, they're quite straightforward. Oh, the other thing I will say is you could glue this if you really wanted to. You're not confident with sewing or don't have a sewing machine. If you wanted to sew, you could hand stitch this. There's no reason why you couldn't do a bit of a running stitch, or even a back stitch would be quite nice along here. But something like Fabri-Tac glue, or I think art glitter glue does stick fabric, but I haven't used art glitter glue. And I would just put a bead of glue with each bit layer down along that front bit, because all I'm going to do is sew right in the middle of that so that it leaves this as flips. But that's a flip done. So let's pop that over to the side. So this is the secret writing spot fabric flip. So what I was thinking of, I don't think that's wide enough. No, not got a wide enough piece of material. I think this is going to be, yeah, that's too heavy. Let's have a little look at what we've got in here. I could always do, is there enough in here? Yeah, let's do another one of these, because this is quite nice material. I do like this. And we're about height for doing it with this, aren't we? Yeah. Might just need straightening a little, this piece, but that's fine, we can do that. So let's just make sure we've got roughly around about 4.5. Yeah, it's going to be a little thinner than 4.5 because this piece of material doesn't quite angle down, but I'm just going to flatten this. Gives me a bit of a crease by doing this. There we go. Oops. No, it didn't go in my pot. I've moved things around and I'm still trying to get to know where my everything is in my little rolly cart, because I tidied it all up the other week. Right, I'm just going to, as much as I like a frayed edge, I want this a bit straighter than what that is. And I didn't even get that straight, did I? Look at that. How terrible a straight cutting am I? Let's try again. That's better. Okay. Let's just get off the loose threads now. Okay, that goes in there. So that's going to form the base of our pocket. So basically it's the same size as a fabric flip, but you're just folding the fabric in half. I'll put a pin where I will sew, and I will sew along here, along this bottom edge. And then this top edge will get sewn along when we join everything together. So let's create some layers. That's our, so what have we got here? Let's have about here. I'm going to have a fabric flip along, actually I'm going to put it along here, take it to about here. So I've had a request for some slow stitching. I haven't done anything like slow stitching or embroidery for years. So I'm currently at the moment practicing refamiliarizing myself with it all, and then I do plan to do a little slow stitching series here on my YouTube channel. I've just thoroughly enjoyed playing with the fabric, and it just basically gives me more opportunity to play with fabric in a different way. It's in a way it's rekindling that passion for fabric and textiles that I once had years ago when I went to college to do fashion design and dressmaking. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I just want to, I'm currently at the moment, as I said, just reacquainting myself with the different stitches and the names and practicing and that again at the moment. I'll perhaps show you in my next video some of the bits that I've been doing. Okay, I quite like that. So now all I think I would want across the top is just a little bit of lace trim. Now, got quite a big bit of lace trim along there. Do we want a bit of lace trim, or do we want to go for a bit of ribbon? I actually think a bit of the ribbon might look nice. What do we think? Across the top there. No, I don't like that. The pink. I want to be able to see that the red under it from the rose. So let's go with some of the thin stuff again. I'm getting a bit low on this kind of lace. I need to lace trim. This is vintage looking, but it's not vintage, it's new. I get it from HobbyCraft here in the UK. I love the stuff though. It really is nice to work with. I need to order some more though. I'm getting a bit thin on the ground. So that would just go across there, and because we'll be stitching all of these layers down anyway, that will hold our pocket. So we'll have a little hidden pocket in here like this one is. So I stitched along here and I stitched along the top here. You can probably see it from the back along there, and that sealed the pocket front and back, or top and bottom should I say, and then you've got a lovely big space there for you to put something inside it. And I would do the same on the sewing machine across the bottom here, and across the top there. And all it is just a bit of material that I folded over in half. You still get that look of the material up that way. So that's the idea for the hidden pocket. As I said, it's not my idea. I don't know the lady that sent the idea to Gail, and I know Gail has tried this again herself. But I wanted to do it because I think it's a fantastic idea, and I wanted to share that with all you guys. So that's that idea done. Now this one, straightforward in that we're putting a pocket on the base of our fabric flip. So let's see, shall we use a bit of this? Let's use a bit of this. So I'm going to go at about 4.5 there. Okay, and we want it about 7.5 this way. Okay, so that's those done. So what we then need to do is think about a pocket on here. When I did this one, I used quite a heavyweight cotton material, which was actually thicker than the material that I used at the base. So I didn't actually do any enforcing of the pocket bit there. With this one, it was quite thin, so all I did was I just folded it over, then did the zigzag stitch along there just to give it a bit of protection for something going in and out. You could do that with this one if you wanted to. You could fold over this edge, zigzag stitch that down so it gives you a bit of a support, but this one I wanted it to be totally hidden, because to look at like that you would not know there was a pocket there, whereas these, as soon as you do the start flipping up, you see that you've got pockets there for them. So let's see, I'm thinking I might have a strip down here, so let's have a look and see what other material. I wouldn't mind if I've got some of this left, but I don't know if I've got any long enough pieces. Maybe I could have a piece down the bottom. Maybe if I had it that way, that would work. A possibility. Let's carry on rummaging in this pile. I don't think there's much in here. These are all quite small pieces. That's lovely. Lovely bit of material that is. Okay. Let's have a look in here. Have we got any of that left? Doesn't look like we have, actually. Used it all already. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go with this piece on here. I think this would work. So do my usual fraying of it. And again, because this is the thicker material, I don't need to fold it over to enforce it. I think that would be fine as it is. And I'm going to do it on the darker side, because I think with the darker bit at the bottom. So all I would do then with this one is I am just going to pin it in the middle and then stitch all the way around those three sides, a bit like you'd glue down, and that forms your little pocket on our flip, and then we can now work on the top and create a flip on the top of it. Let's have a look. We've got a bit of this, maybe a piece of that hanging down. I'm quite liking the lighter pink, so let's see if we can cut this a bit straight. Like so. I know this edge is not straight, so I'm just going to try and straighten it up. Okay. So we don't want, I think I'm going to have it this side, and I don't want it to come right the way down the bottom, so I'm just going to cut it off there. And that again did not cut straight. Terrible at cutting straight. Yeah. So I'm going to have that down this side. Wondering if we have a piece of the same material on here like there. Because with this I've kind of hidden that there's a pocket there, but I thought it might be nice for you to just see a little bit of what's on there. Yeah, I quite like that, and I think I'm actually going to want a bit of the wider lace along here. So yeah, I will just sew that across the top here like I would any fabric flip, and then you've got those couple of bits that flip up. You've got a little pocket here, once we've sewn around will be the pocket, and then that will go in a page and flip up. So that's that idea, nice and easy to do. So let's pop that one over there. And then this one is pretty much the same as well. In fact, I'm looking at that, we've got a piece, we might as well use this because I said it doesn't have to be an exact size, just use whatever scraps you've got. Let's have this as our base, but let's just get rid of all these bits. There we go. Okay. So which side? Facing that way. Okay. So we want a nice weight of pocket on here. In fact, that is the perfect size. So we'll just use, don't know if that's going to be strong enough. It feels quite weak, that. I would like a slightly stronger material. If not, we'll fold that top bit, but this I haven't got enough to fold the top of this. There's not enough in there. Okay, tell you what we'll do, we'll use a piece of this. So I want my pocket about here. Let's cut it this way first. Okay, so it's going to go along that way. I want the pocket to be about here, but I want to fold a bit of it over, so I'm going to do a bit of a slightly wider edge to it. And that's it. And then all I want to do is to just do a little bit of a pin tuck like this. I'm just going to pin it, fold that all the way over. So there we go. All I've done is just folded over a small little edge that I will stitch along like I did, where were we, this one, exactly like I did with that. That gives it just a little bit of a weight when you're putting stuff in and out of a pocket. And then this gets stitched on here, and I do stitch this on completely first before I then stitch the other bit all across the top. So I lay it out. We'll carry on decorating this up. Let's see, we want a bit of something down first, and then I think a piece of that. I wouldn't mind some lace. I don't think there's any big bits. No, let's just cut a piece from here, because I would like some lace on here. Where are we? I've got this bit here that can be cut off. Oops, hooked up on the pins. Okay, so I would like a bit of lace over this. So let's just cut where I would like it, which I think about here, like so, and then we'll have a bit, we'll chop it off about there. Gives a bit of dimension having the different layers. So I like that on there. I'm looking at this piece. Let's just finish fraying that. Oops, pins. And I think that down to about there would be nice. So that goes over that bit down the middle. Like that. And then we want a little bit of lace across the top, so I think we will have just a little bit of this lace again. So what I might do, actually, depending on what time we are at the end of this, I'll check it in a minute. Let me just pin this. I might pause, get my sewing machine set up. Now it is a very, very old, noisy sewing machine, but I might see if I can film it. It depends, because of the angle. I don't know if you're going to get a very good angle. It's not something I've tried, but I think I'll try it and see, and if it don't work, I'll still come back and I'll show you what I finished with. But that's what I do. I get all of that ready, and then when I come to sew it, all I do is just unpin this for this clump of cluster that we've put on the top. Do what I said. I'll unpick, I'll stitch that down, or stitch this, then I will pin it back down and stitch all the way around it, pin this back on here and stitch across the top there. So I don't know, yeah, you can't, where I've stitched this, you can't really see that I stitched it across first, but I basically went all along here first, then I went across here. So let's see how we're doing for time. We're about 35 minutes, so yeah, I'm going to try my little setup and see if I can film me sewing. If I can't, I will be back with these ones just to show you what they look like when they've all been pinned together. But they're the ideas that I've got, and I will be back shortly. Hello, I've got a sewing machine set up here. I hope you're going to be able to see what I'm doing here, and I will just warn you that my sewing machine is old and very noisy, so if you've got the volume up to hear me, because I know I can speak quietly sometimes, you might need to turn it back down again. So I'm just going to do the fabric flip, taking the pin out because it wasn't quite sitting right. I want to get it a bit straighter on here, and then I'll put the pin back in just to temporarily hold it where I want it. There we go, that one looks straighter. Okay, so I've got my machine set for a zigzag stitch. Just a straightforward, let's see, I'll show you on this one, fairly wide zigzag stitch. Now on these, because I've done a lot of fraying, I'm just going to do a little back stitch on my machine. Right, that can come out now, that pin, and then it's just a case of stitching along way to the end on this fabric flip anyway, which is the easy one, and then I'll just do a little back stitch. Okay, so there we go, that's the fabric flip stitched together. So that was the first one that I showed you to make. That was the nice easy one. Now let's see what we've got. We've got the pocket, haven't we, on this side one. So again, I'm going to take these off, just lay them to the side here with me. The pocket's got to come off as well because we need to stitch down the little fold that we've done. So I'm just going to stitch that down, same zigzag stitch. That first pin out. On my foot again. Whenever I stop, I try and stop with the needle down, and if the needle isn't down, I just adjust the wheel at the end. It just helps keep the, when you're moving the fabric, you've got a better control of it, I find. Okay, so we don't need the threads on this one. So that's our pocket little lip sewn. Now we can sew it back onto here where we had it, and I am just going to put a pin. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't need to use pins. I suppose that's a habit from my dressmaking days. Okay, I'm just going to go on here, and we're going to zigzag all the way around. Like I said, you don't have to sew. If you would prefer, you could glue. Right, I'm going to take that out because I want to make sure I get this nice and flat. Okay. Oops. There are bits that went on top, and I'm just snipping off the extra thread. I've back stitched this so I can cut these right off low. So there we go, that's that stitched on. all ready. Now we can finish the flip by having this how we wanted it, that like so, and that across there. Just going to pin this, hold that in place, and then put it up here on my sewing machine. I'm not going to do the back stitch on this one, and I'll show you what I normally do as and when I, if I don't do any back stitching and I just stitch straight away. Is I turn that over, and then where's my little, I just use a little, this is the my my bookmaking awl, and where I've got my threads, if I can just separate the two threads, one's at the back, one's at the front, I pull through, I don't know if you can see, I pull through the loop from the front to the back, and then you've got my two threads at the back, and I just do a couple of little knots. I always do 3. Don't know why, I just do 3. And that's all secure, so you don't have to do back stitch if you're not confident in back stitch. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same, separate them out, run through that one from the front to the back, and knot it off. You want to at least do a couple of knots just to seal it. There we go. And that is the second one that we did with the little pocket. Oh, I don't mind a bit of thread hanging on some of these, but I don't want too long a bit. So that's that one done. Let's put my awl back over here. How am I doing for time on my second one? Yeah, only 7 minutes, so I'll carry on. Oh yes, this is the one where they're all, it's top and bottom, and we've got a little pocket opening this way. So I want to seal this bottom edge. It's not flat, I just like to make sure I get it nice and flat when I'm doing this, it doesn't pucker up then. There we go. Actually, I'm going to try and flatten it. It doesn't look like it's that straight actually with my cutting, but that's fine. If I go with this top line like so, that should make it straight now. There we go. Okay, so that's that bit done. So that's sealed the bottom bit of the pocket. Now let's make sure these are all straight how I want them. And we will stitch all the way along the top. And then this will hold all our fabric together and hold the pocket closed as well. There we go. Straight. There we go. So I have done a back stitch on this, so I don't need to knot it. And that is our little hidden pocket just in here. That's a nice fabric flip with just doing the stitching that and then the top. So that's that one. And then this one is the one where we're going to put a little pocket on here. So let's do this one. And I'm going to come down at this edge here. Again, I'm going to do a little back stitch just to seal it. When I stop on the corner, I always stop with the needle when it does the zigzag and the needle goes from this side across like this. I always stop with it on the left hand side. That way when I turn it round, it will start again nicely along that edge. I'll show you what I mean when it's done, but yeah, I always stop with the needle to that side if I can. Okay, so I can cut these off nice and close because I back stitched it. Okay, pin can come out. So yeah, this is what I mean. I was stitching along here, so I've stitched along here and I've stopped with the needle. I use these scissors. I've stopped with the needle to the left so that when I then turn it around, it will go across and start the zigzag like this. So when I turned it from here, it went across like that. It's just the way I do it. I just find it gives it a much neater corner. If it doesn't matter, you don't have to. It tends to go back into it and sometimes it will miss the hole and everything, but that's just how I do it, just in case you wanted to know. Okay, so now all that's left is to just stitch along this top bit. I go quite close to the top with my zigzag. Let's get that pin out. And well, we're not holding a pocket or anything down, so I'm not bothering to back stitch this. I'll pull the threads through. And we'll knot it off that way. So you don't have to have a book binding awl to do this. You could just use a pair of scissors or a needle or something, just as long as it doesn't pluck the material or cut the thread. You're just basically trying to loop it through from front to back so that you can knot it off like I'm doing. I don't want that long. I do the same with this side. I often do this because I don't like to back stitch when I'm doing stitching around my pages. This is how I will knot them off. That one hasn't come through properly, look. There we go. Yeah, I'll do this on the back of all the pages when I stitch around pages for a journal. That way, if you don't want the threads hanging down, you can cut them right off. But I don't mind some of the threads sometimes hanging down. So there we go. That was the third variation that we did with our little pocket. So I hope you've enjoyed. Let's switch that light off and move that to the side. Do a little recap. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Fabric Friday, doing our little fabric flips but with some variations with some little pockets. They're looking so lovely. Let me hold them up. Look at that. And then you've got the lovely little hidden pocket in there. We've got this one with our little pocket in there. Then we've got that one, which is just the basic flip. And then we've got this one that will flip up with our little pocket in here. So there you go, guys. That's how I do my fabric flips and fabric flips with hidden pockets on them. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you've been able to follow along. Don't forget to use the hashtag Fabric Friday, Fabric Fridays 2024. That'll be in the title of this video, and leave the link down below. Do go and check out my other videos if you've not seen any of the other ones yet, and I do have a playlist where all the Fabric Fridays that I do will be in there, and I will be back next week with some more fun adventures with fabric. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye.